The time for talk is over. Well, actually, it's just beginning because we're doing a live podcast, but you know what I mean. The time for talk is over because football season is finally back. Why people were so excited Thursday night to get the games going, they were spitting on each other, literally, but that's kind of a very Philadelphia thing to do. Anyway, it's time here on Six Rings and Football Things on Friday, September 5th, 2025, as the 2025 season, which comes at you with much anticipation and excitement. We need to get you behind enemy lines to get the latest information on just what the reviled and 2% owned Tom Brady Raiders, or the Braiders, as we now like to call them, are thinking about your Patriots as they gear up for the kickoff Sunday, 1 o'clock at the Razors. So we welcome in our sister podcast from Las Vegas, Silver and Black today, with host Scott Gulbransen. Scotty, how are you, my guy? You excited for this game Sunday or what?
I'm excited. It's finally all this crap we talk about during the off season and the preseason is over. They get to strap on those helmets and get out there. And finally, we get to see who's what, who's doing what, who's going to be good, who's not going to be good. We can get our overreactions in after week one because, fans are going to do that. And so, yeah, I'm ready to go, man. Let's get it going. Let's get it rolling. And this rivalry, which is now, as you said, with Tom Brady being a part owner of the Raiders, taking on a whole new level, even though it's been good over the past few years.
Yeah, I mean, Overreaction Monday is like a national semi-holiday we look forward to as much as like December 26th, which is National Department Store and Amazon Returns Day, day after Thanksgiving, which is, of course, you tell yourself you're going to do a diet, but just make more turkey sandwiches day. Overreaction Monday is awesome. But Preview Friday is something I always look forward to because right now everyone is 0-0. Everyone could be 20-0 if they want to be. Everyone could have the greatest team. Everyone could be that team since there always seems to be attrition and turnover in both conferences as far as wild card teams, sneaky surprise division winners and such go. You never know who's going to be that team that comes from out of nowhere. Now, there has been a lot of hullabaloo about the Raiders, the turnover, Brady getting involved, new coach Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, Ashton Genty, etc. But the Patriots seem to garner an S-ton of national buzz when they turned over from the Mayo error to the Mike Vrabel era. Then you have a great free agency period where they spend the most money. They spend the budget of a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, revamping the entire team, buying everyone in sight like full drunken sailors, #Raiders. And then you have a great draft. And then everyone is saying, hey, I think those Patriots can be the team that goes from worst to not necessarily first, but, from the rancor to relevance once again. Training camp goes wellish, but the last couple of weeks haven't necessarily gone so great for the Patriots, leading up to Gonzo likely not playing. Now Will Campbell's on the injury report, and people kind of wondering if the offense is going to slow play it because there's so many new parts. How do the Raiders see the Patriots? Are you guys more in they're with us in the middle of the pack trying to fight their way up? Or are you on board with that? Well, Pats could be one of those teams this year.
From an objective standpoint, I think a lot of folks look at the Patriots as a question mark, like how much of a jump can they make? There's a lot of doubt, I think, still with Drake May. I like Drake May coming out of college, actually. I thought he was a guy who I saw who looked pro ready. Yeah, he might have a couple wrinkles here and there, as all rookies and second-year quarterbacks do. But I think from a stature perspective, from a play perspective, from a talent perspective, Drake May, to me, if he goes out and balls out like I think he can, and then you add in the coaching staff, of course, the switch over, like you said, and just taking a massive step up there, I think the Patriots could surprise people. Will they be the Washington Commanders of 2025? I don't think there's that. I think a lot of Raider fans now, of course, as you guys all know, just like Pats fans, very, very, very emotional, engaged, and passionate fan base. A lot of Raider fans expect them to go beat the Patriots handily in New England. I'm not there. I don't agree with that. Yeah, exactly. But that shows you how much, for the first time, there's some real genuine hope. As I've said all off season, Fitzy, there's finally a feeling that there's adults in the room in Las Vegas, right? Not only the Brady influence, which we can talk about, but then you got Pete Carroll. Yeah, he's 73 years old, but Pete Carroll gets out of bed with more energy than I do, and I'm a lot younger than he is, okay? This guy is a dynamo.
There's something in that gum that he's snapping on the sidelines all the time. I'm telling you.
Exactly.
We should all, like, for all of the for all of the Frank Thomas testosterone ads that pop up on TV in games,
Yeah.
all of the, like repair your gut, fix your mitochondria, have more energy, drink less. That's hard to do.
All that
Ads
tea.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got low T, like everything that pops up on Instagram, every fifth scroll that you do. Like, we should all just follow Pete Carroll around and have the boundless energy. I wonder who's going to have more energy Sunday. The football hardo who just turned 50 and still puts the pads on and mixes it up with his players in Mike Vrabel, or Pete Carroll, who strikes you as the kind of guy, drinking a non-alcoholic beer at a family get-together. It's like, oh, did you hear Uncle Pete? He just finished his 3rd ultra marathon this week.
Exactly. And not only that, but from the Raiders' perspective, a real offensive coordinator. You got Chip Kelly coming off winning a national championship.
That's a
Ohio
sneaky big
State.
Storyline. Sneaky big storyline.
It's huge.
Everyone's been talking about what will Josh do for Drake, but everyone has sort of like slept on. It's all been about Pete. And was that really the coach that the Raiders wanted? Well, they're settling for somebody who's an excellent NFL coach and has a great collegiate and pro record. They settled on Geno Smith. They didn't maybe get the sexiest quarterback, but he works great with Pete and has had a revitalization. I don't think this is the year they're going to write back as well.
Right. And he's got, remember, Geno Smith, too. You talk about that with Chip Kelly. Add in Brock Bowers, who's about to might break, actually, the consecutive reception mark for a second-year receiver. He's going to break the Sam Laporta record here this week. He'll get 2 receptions. I have no doubt about that.
Oh, yeah.
He goes 8 more, and he's going to be second all-time. And then he goes 12 more. He's going to take down one of the top receivers ever, Odell Beckham Jr., as the most receptions. That includes wide receivers of a second-year player in history. So Chip Kelly's got weapons on offense for the first time. Remember, last year at this time, Fitzy, you had a wet towel in Luke Getsy, who couldn't last in Chicago as an offensive coordinator.
No, when the Bears, who still have never had a 30-touchdown passer or a 4,000-yard quarterback, tell you, we're all set. We're all set here. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
That should tell you exactly what you need to know about that offensive coordinator and his abilities to spark or ignite a new offense. I told you when I jumped on your pod a couple of days ago, I think Lex, jacked up Lex Luthor, the tight end, Brock Bowers, is an absolute force of nature. I think he's legitimately top 5 offensive playmaker, not inarguably the top tight end in football right now.
Oh yeah.
But also when you factor in running backs, wide receivers, this is a top 5 playmaker that has to be accounted for at all times. His game is already here. We think Ashton Genty is going to be on his way up there. I know you guys are only carrying 4 wide receivers, which is kind of a low level. Amari Cooper pulled Devontae Davis and retired in the middle of the week. But I don't think that's an indictment of where the Raiders are headed and what kind of offense you guys will be playing. That's just I haven't been good since 2022, so I'm just going to pack it up while I still can move around without any help.
Yeah, Mr. Smiles, as they call him, because there's a great meme going around of Amari Cooper where he's happy, sad, angry, pumped up, and it's all the same face, right? So him retiring, while it was kind of a surprise, most Raider fans, he has a very complex Raiders history, obviously drafted in the first round and then left. It was traded to the Dallas Cowboys when John Gruden was there. And so Raider fans were reluctant to welcome him back, and their reluctance was again validated by the fact that he walked away. But then you got Jacoby Myers, who I know Patriots fans are very well aware of.
And dumbest thing, signing Juju Smith blank word in place of Jacoby Myers, who comes up via that pipeline of undrafted free agents who have been one of the sneaky cornerstones of the Patriots' success, not named Brady, Belichick, or Gronkowski over the last 25 years. And instead of rewarding your own guy for the work he put in to become a top target, leading locker room voice and more, you let him go. You bring in Smith-Schuster, who Smith sucked while he was here, and then of course he rediscovers himself in Kansas City. That's always been a major disappointment to me.
Right. And then Jacoby Myers, deja vu all over again, thank you, Yogi Berra, says this offseason, right towards the end of camp, hey, trade me because you haven't given me a new deal. So there's some discord there. He wants a new deal. The Raiders, at the very least, should give him a big raise for this year. He did get 1,000 yards last year.
Juwan Jennings just got a nice little rum topper on his 2025 season cocktail as well. I would do it for Jacoby. He's playing like a wide receiver one. He's not just a complimentary piece anymore. And the way money gets thrown around for these wide receiver ones, like, he deserves a little more. I would have loved to have seen him back in the red, white, blue, and silver, but Hopefully he gets rewarded in Vegas. And I think he alongside Bowers and Genty make for that's a nice little trio right there to build around in this revitalized Tom Brady Raiders going forward. Like good, dependable receiver, awesome tight end, and a running back who may just be able to jump to the moon and blow through hole. He's not going to be Smurf Turf Genty right away, but I think he's going to be an absolute dynamo. He's my pick for offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, they did the right thing in drafting him early on. I said Raiders got to go Genty, and I'm not just taking a victory lap, okay? But I said, look, they were last in the league in rushing last year, and then you get Pete Carroll. What does Pete Carroll do? Pete Carroll grinds it out. He wants to go to the fourth quarter, the last 5 minutes. Game on the line, and he wants his team to have the ball, and he does that through a ball control offense. Yes, Geno Smith can wing the ball around. Geno Smith's got a good arm, but Ashton Genty's the key, along with that offensive line, which we can talk about, which is a big question mark too, but no question. And then the Patriots on that side, look, one of the favorite guys I liked in the draft was Trayvon Henderson. So you're going to see two really good young running backs. I think the future of the league at running back in these two guys going against each other in Foxborough on Sunday.
Yeah, and I had made a point. A lot has been made about like exactly what your favorite football human being, Josh McDaniels, will be able to do for Drake May this season. The offense hinges on whether Steph Diggs has any dog left in him, if he's got any alpha wide receiver one. There's been a lot of hubbub with people saying that he was a pain in the posterior, which he is. That's what you get when you sign up for the Steph Diggs experience. I think, and he's a medical miracle that he's 10 months removed from ACL reconstruction surgery and looks and moves the way that he does. So I think he's going to be great for the offense, great for Drake, and hopefully Josh McDaniels as well. And it's a good thing the Patriots drafted Drake May when they did, because if they waited to scout him this year, they'd be banned from the premises, since Belichick has banned all Patriots scouts from Chapel Bill, which I think is the pettiest. That is the Tom Pettiest, the most petty Kruger, petty Van Halen thing I have ever heard in my life. And it's so Belichick. And I just want to keep him at an emotional Heisman's length right now, because there's enough great rivalry between these two teams.
Are you saying Mike Vrabel's not going to have his wife down on the field during the game and
oh my God,
making balloon arcs for the press conference?
Oh my God, with Diane Von Sparkle Pants down there going over to Belichick before the game and whispering sweet nothings in his ear. Oh my God, if my eyes could throw up. See, talk about just like emotional ipecac. It just made me want to vomit through every orifice. God, it's just so awful.
Well, and you brought up that offensive coach that you now have with the Patriots, who in Vegas is known
is he your Voldemort? Is he the coach who shall not be named?
He is actually, I think he's taken on the official moniker of Satan. I know we're not a religious program here, but I think that's what he is. In fact, he's run up so much animosity. I haven't seen this much animosity since Fletch ran up the Underhill's tab at the club ordering club sandwiches.
Do you want? Would you like a steak sandwich and a Bloody Mary, Scott? And a steak sandwich and charges to the Underhills.
That's right. So yeah.
I mean, not such fanimus, if you will, since that's right. Since Charles Wood, since the Michigan crime of January 19th, 2002. See, that's what I love about
about the fumble, right? The fumble.
The tuck rule. I mean, when Brady and Woodson sat down in one of Brady's multi-million-dollar Miami bunkers and kind of admitted, like, yeah, it was a fumble. We all thought it was. But you know what? Hey, listen.
That's the way it goes.
Franco Harris would probably tell you, like, yeah, it hit the ground. So what? You can't change things now. Yeah, I see. These are all the layers that make this such a great kickoff. Two teams, that are hoping to get to 8-9, 9-8, maybe 10-7. We in not as tough a division as you. The AFC West, I think, is going to be an absolute 20-man WWE, brawl to settle them all this year, just kind of like the NFC North will be as well. And I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah, the Pete Carroll factor. You got the Tom Brady factor now as well. You got the Josh McDaniels factor, Jacoby Myers as well. And one of the things that I was looking at this week on the radio, I was sort of like posturing that while the Raiders don't necessarily have the 2003 Panthers front line, nor do they have the 2023 Philadelphia Eagles offensive line, they're going to provide a great test for the Patriots offensive line in transition and for the rebuilt and very expensive Patriots defensive line. Now, as far as the Pats offensive line goes, like I said, Will Campbell on the injury report with an ankle. You have two rookies starting on the left side, and Jared Wilson, who should be a center, but is playing left guard for now. You've got Garrett Bradbury, who Minnesota was like, all set, check, please. Yeah, thanks so much. Minnesota niced him right out of town. but the Pats were so center desperate, they signed him up. He's undersized. Ryan Wendell 2.0 for Pats fans to remember that deep pull. You have a good right guard in Mike Onwenu, and then you've got old man Moses starting at right tackle, who was load managed all off season long. Now you throw at these guys the best edge defender, period, flat, end of story, full stop, and Max Crosby, who I know usually plays to the right tackle side, but I wouldn't be surprised if Patrick Graham is like, go ahead and just kind of do what you want to do. And Malcolm Kuntz, an underrated edge defender who can get after it as well.
Yeah.
Pat's offensive line is going to be tested early and often with overloads and all sorts of tricks that I think Patrick Graham and the Raiders will have up their sleeve. And then on the other side, like I said, that triangle of Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers, and Ashton Genty, but also your running back room is sneaky deep. You got old man Mostert, who can still bring it and turn on the gas when necessary. Zamir White's a tricky little son of a gun.
Yeah.
And one of the guys I had a draft crush on was Dylan Laub.
Yeah.
Who's like another one of these diet Rex Burkhead types who I think can do everything. So if the Pats front is what it has been telling us, or the Mina Kimeses of the world have been professing it can be, you guys will stress it and test it on all levels.
Yeah, and I think that's where what's going to be interesting is, despite the skill position guys, you focused on the trenches there. And we all know, you and I have been around the block enough to know that that's where games are won and lost almost every time. But you look at that dynamic with that rebuilt and expensive Patriots defensive front. The Raiders offensive line, let me tell you, yes, they have those weapons. Yes, you got Chip Kelly in that mind with the offense, but you got an offensive line that is mixed up. That you have, of course, Colton Miller just got his deal. He's a guy on the left side, veteran. Then you got Dylan Parham, Jordan Meredith, the new center. You have Jackson Powers Johnson, who is basically just like Chris Farley. You know, I live in a van down by the river. In fact, that's what he dressed up for as Halloween. He was great coming out of college, out of Oregon last year, won the top award in college football as a center, and they move him to right guard.
With a great name. I know. That's exactly what Jared Wilson's going through. Like, snuck through to the third round. Everyone said, kid's so smart, going to be a stud.
Yeah.
Pats are so desperate, they move him over to left guard because Belichick's drafts were so bad, and that's why Mike Vrabel is turning things over so much right now. We're not even considering what to do with the bedrooms upstairs or what the roof is going to look like and if there's going to be solar panels. Like, they're still like gutting the basement and pulling out the kitchen, and the drafts were so bad. Cole Strange, their 2022 first round draft pick, is on the Browns practice squad. I mean, if that is not the most glaring indictment of how bad the drafts were, no more, I rest my case, Your Honor.
Yeah, listen, I'll tell you what, the Raiders had the same thing with John Gruden. I've never seen so many bad draft picks. I like John Gruden's offensive mind, but boy, they got set back easy. And that's the thing with the defense. You talk about Max Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz coming back from an injury, and then you had Christian Wilkins, a guy they spent a lot of money, and he starts to play Pepe Le Pew in the locker room, kissing people. Right. And suddenly he's gone. So there's some question marks up there. That's why this game, to your point, it's a sneaky, great, I think, petri dish to see how these teams are going to do in all those big areas, because they both spent big money in different areas and they don't always align. And so what's going to happen there, and how are these teams going to come out and perform with new coaching staffs, new players, new bodies, all with some talent, but how they put it together? As you know, it's all about execution. And so can these two teams execute? And boy, I think it's going to be a struggle on both sides. It's going to be a close game, and I'm here for it because that's what it's all about. That's what makes it fun for us to watch.
Before we get into our score predictions and wrap, give me like one guy on each side of the ball that Patriots fans may not necessarily be familiar with, but who they will definitely spot out on their flat screen television or mobile viewing device on Sunday and say, oh man, that guy's a pain in the ass. I'd never heard of this guy before.
Yeah, I'll give you two on offense, both receivers, because they're both young receivers. One third-year guy, Trey Tucker, came out of the University of Cincinnati, plays in the slot. Fastest guy on the team, one of the fastest guys on the team. And he's a guy they're counting on a lot. Pete Carroll has put a lot of faith in young players on offense and, more importantly, on defense too, which we'll talk about. But Trey Tucker is a guy in year 3 that if you get him in space and Geno Smith can distribute the ball. Raiders haven't had a core. Remember, last time these two teams played, you had the thrilling matchup of Jimmy Garoppolo and Mac Jones, right? So how far both these teams have come at the quarterback
I've been
position.
begging for an emotional refund on that game.
Exactly.
When the highlight of the game is Jabril Peppers popping Devontae Adams early in the game for a YOLO fumble, followed by Brian Hoyer steering the path. Like, oh my, and the
Yes.
Devontae Parker drop. My God,
Oh yeah.
that
So
game was Timu brutal.
yeah, so Fitzy, so that one, and then a rookie wide receiver who I think could be sneaky good and has kind of flown under the radar, played at Tennessee, Dante Thornton Jr.
This guy can fly. And
Wow.
Pats fans are terrified of people with the last name of Thornton, who they're told is very fast because of the way Taekwon stole our lunch at midnight.
Oh yeah.
Coming
Oh
in,
yeah.
I'm all out on tall, fast Baylor receivers. They don't translate in the NFL. But this kid, 6'5", thin as a rail, apparently, but like runs. He can run like Forrest Gump. He can go after it and get it.
Yep.
Is there any confidence he's actually going to be a part of the game plan, or is he going to be like a sneaky weapon later on?
No, I think he will be, especially now that Amari Cooper has gone off into the sunset. He's going to, I think, get time. We'll see. I think they're going to pepper him in, and if he does well, if he's able to perform right away, then I think you'll see increasingly that he'll do that more. But he's a guy who could very quickly, I believe, because you hear the hype, oh, mini camp, oh, he was the talking mini camp. Okay, whatever. Then you get to regular mini camp, and then you get to training camp. All throughout that, the guys that are at practice every day continually talking about what this guy has done. The big criticism was route running. Guess what? He's been route running great. Geno Smith has given him. Now, listen, we know in press conferences, they're not going to rip each other, but this kid is it, man. And with that size, then another guy, sorry, I got to give you a third one.
Okay.
Because people forget about him. And that is Michael Mayer, the tight end out of Notre Dame.
Right, because everyone is singing the Brock Bowers anthem,
Yes.
but Michael Mayer, good blocking tight end, like he's like on Amazon, if you buy Cole Kmet, it may recommend you also purchase Michael Mayer.
Right. And you're going to get those two tight end sets in big doses, right? It's like me trying to get to the donut table at church behind two fat ladies, right? It's going to be two big dudes who can not only block.
I just want to refill my coffee a little bit. I just want to splash a decaf and a munchkin for the road. Ladies, could we please? God love you.
Come on, let's move on.
Let's all have a blessed Sunday. Come on, moving along.
But yeah, but those two guys too, imagine you got those two guys, then you got a 6'5" wide receiver, and then you got Jacoby Myers on the other side. Wow. I mean, suddenly you're dealing with it. So that's on offense. On defense, the big question mark for the Raiders defensive backfield, especially at cornerback, you have Caillou Blue Kelly, a guy who's really turned it on this offseason. And then you have Darnay Holmes as well at cornerback. But Caillou Blue Kelly could be a guy that really steps up there. But you'll see, I would imagine the Patriots with Josh McDaniels, they're going to challenge that defensive backfield quickly. Jeremy Chin, of course, the veteran safety's there, and Isaiah Palomalo, who's another safety for the Raiders. Those are all question marks. If they can play at a level, Pete Carroll's put a lot of faith. They didn't sign anybody else. They brought in some veterans, but they are going to go with those guys. So I would watch carefully at the beginning of the game, if you're a Patriots fan, how aggressive Josh McDaniels is going after those guys early.
Gotcha. And for the Raider faithful as well, I'll give you one guy on defense to look out for, and that would be cornerback Alex Austin, who's had a nose for the ball and has done a great job filling in whenever he's called on in the slot or on the outside. And with Gonzo, as of record time Friday morning, he's not been officially announced out, but he hasn't practiced basically since the Obama administration. So at this point now, I'm pretty comfortable saying Gonzo's not going to be playing week 1. So you'll have Carlton Davis, who's had a spotty offseason since coming over from the Lions. And Alex Austin he's been better than advertised, or if he's even being advertised, he's pretty good. He's a solid depth option for the Pats to be able to deploy all over. And what they do at safety at this point now, starting a bunch of Jags, a Kyle Duggar, who they kept in place of Jabril Peppers, which surprised many people, and rookie Craig Woodson. Your guess is as good as mine. So we're all gonna be rooting as much as we're watching, analyzing, while wondering and harumphing on Sunday. Man, this is gonna be such a great game for both sides to learn so much about their team, their new coach, their quarterback, and their future and what the optimism should be for the next couple of games this season, and the short term as well. So let's get down to task brax here, my guy. Let's lay it all on the line and put it in cement, or at least digital print. What do you got for a score?
So I'm going to go a little bit of unusual score, and of course I'm going to go with the Raiders here, or all of my listeners would abandon the show. No, I'm just kidding.
Shaka.
I'm going to go 28-23. I know it's a little of a weird score. I'm going to have the Raiders come out on top, even though all the odds and the numbers say no. Home team, West Coast, East Coast doesn't favor the Raiders either. Right. But I think Chip Kelly just wants to come out and be able to distribute the ball. Geno Smith, 68.5 completion percentage, third best since he became a starter back in 2022. So I think they're going to distribute the ball a lot, challenge some of those issues that the Patriots have at defensive back, and do it there. But I can also see it as a very close field goal game as well. But I'm going 28-23.
My key player for the New England Patriots on Sunday is also the guy that I have been told for many months now is going to be my new favorite Patriot the second I watch him play meaningful football, and that is former Raider Robert Spillane, the human tackling machine. Yeah, give me 10 seconds on how good a player Spillane is, because I know everyone told me, oh, as soon as Mac Hollins comes over, one fan base weeps as another one rejoices in bare feet. And we all know that he had his best season with McDaniels in 2022. But what makes Spillane so special?
He's just an animal, man. He's the kind of throwback football player you love to watch. And Raider fans still are upset that he's gone. I get a lot of listeners and viewers who come on and say, man, we're going to regret not keeping Spillane. Okay, they signed Devin White, another veteran who's kind of had some down years. But Spillane came in from Pittsburgh and just found his rhythm, and he was all over the field. For what he lacks in physical ability, like speed overall and whatnot, he makes up for because he's just a dog. And so you're going to see a guy that's always going to put it on the line. And of course, this revenge game, McDaniel, Spillane, you have, of course, now some other guys there too. It's going to be fun to watch him. You guys, knowing the fan base up in New England, having friends who live up there as well, he is perfect for the Boston area, and now your Chatterhead's up there.
Yeah, I mean, he honestly looks like he was kicked out of the Dropkick Murphys and took a job as a bouncer at a bar in Boston until he realized his dream as a pro football player. And I think he's going to play Sunday like he's a dad at home, solo parenting with 3 kids under 5, just all over the place, just getting shit done.
Exactly, that's how he plays.
Just, screaming his way through all of it. And at the end of the night, he'll probably sleep like the baby that he was just nursing to sleep and giving a bottle to. So I'm excited for him to be probably the most integral player for the Patriots on defense. And on offense, just, if Josh can start, forming this cerebro to kind of go nerdy Marvel X-Men and go hive mind with Drake May, just take the profit. Don't go crazy. Look for the short passes. Find a way to get it to Antonio Gibson and especially Travion Henderson in space. Let your playmakers play. Let the defense try to grind it down. And hopefully the rookie kicker, Aurora Boregalis from Miami, makes more than he misses. And I think he's actually going to hit one at the buzzer. Give me Patriots 23, Raiders 20. Next time I'm out in the Vegas area, Scott. Wait, where's home base again for you?
I'm actually in Cincinnati, of all places.
Oh, that's right. Now, you're in the Natty.
I moved here. Somebody in the comments had said, "Is the Raider guy? Does he have an ankle bracelet on?" Which,
well, we have some.
Well, no, it was a good one. It was a funny one. But yeah, I was in Vegas. I moved here. We still do the show and the radio show back in Vegas. But I'm out there too. So yeah, we'll definitely connect. Or if I'm up there, we'll get together and we'll get a pizza.
Yeah, and as always, loser buys, whether it's in the natty New England or naughty Las Vegas.
There we go.
All right, so there you go, folks. There is your official Behind Enemy Lines preview, Odyssey Company sister podcast style between Six Rings and Football Things with your host, your old pal, Nick Fitzy Stevens at FitzyGFY, and the great, mighty, and all-powerful Dirty Raider himself, Scott Gulbransen. You can find him on the socials at LV Gully. Scott, thanks so much again for the time. It was great doing a home and away podcast series with you this week. All the best. And by that, I mean, no crying over spilled milk or Patriots win on Sunday. Okay.
Yeah. Fitzy, have a great season. And hello to all the Patriot fans out there. And don't come at me when it ends up being 28-23.
For Scott and for everyone at 2400 Sports, Odyssey, and WEEI, this is Six Rings and Football Things Behind Enemy Lines preview of Raiders at Patriots. Thanks for listening, everyone. Make sure you subscribe to both podcasts on Apple Pod, Spotify, iHeart, and, of course, the Odyssey app. Take care. God bless. Happy football. Do not call your doctor if it's big for 4 hours or longer. It's only natural, and you're not going to need to get your little blue pill subscription fulfilled anytime soon because football is back in our lives, and we love it. Good day. God bless. And as always,